Good morning, Agents of Nothing, and welcome to our Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. podcast. We're your commanding officers. I'm Mariah.
And I'm Caroline.
And today we're going to be talking about Season 4, Episode 16, What If?
Woohoo! So, Mariah, how was your week?
It's been good. Me and Tyler have been using this app called Merlin to identify the birds that we hear chirping in the morning. And
that's so cute.
It's been so fun. Like, you just hit record and it identifies the bird sounds.
Aww.
And so we hear a lot of blue jays, a lot of mockingbirds, occasionally a European starling or a house sparrow. But fall and winter migration is about to start, so we're going to be hearing more rare birds.
Yay! Oh, that's so cute. I love that.
Thank you. How was your week?
It was good. I had my birthday.
Woo!
And then, the next day was Labor Day, or the day before, I guess. And so David and I were both off, actually, finally.
Aww.
So we got to spend a couple days together, so that was really nice. And one of the days we went to see the movie Twisters, and I liked it a lot. But if you don't think about it too hard, it's really good. I was on the way home, we were talking about it, and well, it was really good, but I kind of wish they did this, or fleshed this character out more, or I didn't really understand what they were trying to go for with that. And so then by the time we got home, I was like, it doesn't sound like I liked this movie, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. But yeah, that's all.
All right. Well, shall we get into it?
Yes, I'm so excited.
So this episode was written by D.J. Doyle! And directed by Oz Scott.
Oz, wow.
Yeah.
Is that his real name, or is he from Australia?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Or maybe his name is Oscar or something.
Maybe.
Because I'm thinking about Ozzy Osbourne, and I don't know what Oz would be short for, other than Oscar, actually.
Sorry, I just took a sip of water, and then it went down the wrong pipe almost.
Oh, no. God damn it, Oz.
God damn it, Oz. It's all your fault. What If is the 16th episode of the 4th season. Obviously, we covered that already. Yes. And the beginning of the Agents of Hydra pod.
Oh. Oh.
The title of the show refers to the Marvel comic book series What If, where regular characters are taken in imaginary what-if directions, just like this story arc where Daisy and Gemma are in a world where Hydra won.
Oh.
There actually is an animated Marvel show called What If that's on Disney+.
Yeah.
That is really good.
I knew about that one. I haven't seen that, obviously, but when I saw the name of this episode when we were doing the last episode, I was comforted, because I was well, there's that other show where it's not real. But anyway.
Right. Who do we meet in this episode?
So the only new character that I got a name for was fucking Pinsky. And the only time they talk to him is Daisy going, "Shut up, Pinsky." So I loved it. All right. So we start off where we left off. And Daisy is about to wake up her virtual boyfriend, and which is a totally different meaning, actually. And is beyond startled to realize that it's fucking Ward.
Brett Dalton as Grant Ward reappears as a guest star following Ward's death in Season 3. This is the first time a former main cast member returns in a guest capacity in the show.
Wow. Wow. You know, I didn't realize it as it was happening, but when I was writing the script for this one, Ward's name is essentially fucking Ward.
Yeah.
On our podcast.
Fucking Ward.
Anyway, so Daisy goes to quake him, but obviously nothing happens. She just like sticks her hand out, and he's like, "Is that a thing we do now?" Which was unfortunately very funny. I was like, "No, I don't like you. Stop." She tells him that they got called into work, and so as he's getting dressed, she like stumbles through trying to act normal terribly. And gets some information about their like fake life together. And then he calls her Sky, which is fucking jump scare. And then she sees that her ID badge says that they work for dun 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 Hydra. And I literally screamed.
So Tyler keeps thinking that this storyline happens in a different multiverse. Like, he keeps forgetting that the framework was a thing, and he thinks that Daisy just, like, worked for Hydra.
I mean, sort of in a way, it's a multiverse, but not.
Yeah, like, it's not real.
Yeah.
Because we both have terrible memories. Him probably more so than me. And so he's only watched the show once. And so that's just in his memory. And also, he does not call Ward by his name. He says Brett Dalton. Like, when referring to the character, he says Brett Dalton every time.
I love it. I mean, that's probably easier because he's been a couple of different characters.
Yeah.
Anyway, so as they're driving along to work, Ward keeps asking if Sky is all right, as they're like passing just so many anti-Inhuman signs and billboards along the way, and she's like trying so hard to just not say anything. But I'm also thinking about this like from his point of view, like how this would have been such a weird morning.
Yeah.
Like all of a sudden your partner is like acting like she has no idea who you are or like that you're even together. That would be crazy.
And especially just thinking of it from his point of view, he's like, okay, I said no to moving in together, and now she's acting like she literally doesn't know me.
Yeah. What the fuck? Anyway, so finally she sees the building with the Hydra logo at the top, and she like gasps and she's like, oh my god. And Ward goes, I know, sometimes the Triskelion building looks so beautiful. Does it? It's like a giant gray monolith against a gray overcast sky. Oh, it's so beautiful. Wow. It blends in. And then inside, Ward stops Daisy from interrupting other Hydra agents that are like just beating on this Inhuman. And he's like, no, they can handle it themselves. They don't need your help. And then he like hurries her along to the meeting that they're late for. But they're not that late for it because then he can stop to bring up last night and tries to apologize for what he assumes that she's upset about, which is declining her offer to move in together. He says that he thinks it's the logical next step, but he's just not sure if the time is right. And
even though he says it's been a few years.
Yeah.
A few years at y'all's big age. Oh my God, one of my ears fell.
No, your big ears.
For people who don't know, I have cat ears attached to my headphones, and one of them fell.
What a tragedy. It's okay. They're back now. Anyway, but yeah, like, what? What do you mean it's not the right time? If
it's been a few years and I'm like, hey, we should move in together, and you're like, I'm not sure if it's the right time, I'm like, cool, then it'll never be the right time.
Right.
Goodbye.
We're breaking up now. Yeah, that's insane. And so she plays along and says, yeah, no, I agree. It's definitely not a good idea. And then he's like, it's just that there are things about me you wouldn't like if you knew. And she's like, trust me, I fucking know, bitch. Okay? And I didn't embellish at all. That was what she said.
Yes.
Luckily, Ward does stop by Sky's desk, so that she knows where her desk is. And so she says that she wants to check her email quickly to get, like, caught up before the briefing. So she searches the database for Lincoln first, obviously. And it says that he died during some kind of testing. And then she searches for Simmons, and it says that she's dead, too.
So in the framework, Daisy finds Gemma's obituary. It reads, Gemma A. Simmons. Devonshire native Gemma A. Simmons has returned home to her family. She was a warm and caring person with an intellectual curiosity that carried her around the world. Gemma, a faculty member at the esteemed Shield Academy for Science and Technology, died during a laboratory accident that claimed the lives of 200 other devoted Shield researchers. We would like to believe she died as she lived, in service of others. Gemma Simmons was a great friend and a wonderful daughter who was taken from the world too soon. In lieu of flowers, please send donations to the Foundation for International Medical Response.
Oh, it makes me so sad.
I know. I'm like, it's not real, it's not real, it's not real, it's not real.
And that even within the context of the show, it's a lie.
Yeah. She was fully murdered and dumped in a mass grave.
Yeah. Which, like, thankfully she was at the top of the mass grave, I guess.
I know, right?
Oh my god! Anyway, so May interrupts Daisy and then thinks that she's high when Daisy keeps trying to, like, get through to her and be like, May, no, it's me. So Daisy lets it go for now and heads into the meeting. And then Simmons has risen from the dead! As we said, she pulls herself out of a mass grave. It was... I know I said that it was going to be as hot as Dean Winchester. It was very different, for sure.
Yeah. I'm saying yeah like I know.
It was very, like, zombie with, like, her arm just, like, shot straight up. So it was fun. But anyway, so she pulls herself out and then makes her way through the brush and out of a hole in the fence. A very convenient hole in the fence. Cut perfectly to her height. And then she sees a sign on the fence that says that this is essentially the ruins of Shield Academy. So she flags down a car and asks for help. And the woman, Julia, tells her to get in, and then they start talking, and she starts telling Simmons about her dreams and aspirations and hobbies, and Simmons is, like, fascinated by how layered this simulation is, and also terrified by how layered it is.
Yeah, the idea that, like, a character in a computer program can, like, unprompted sort of, like, have their own, like, ideals and, like, thoughts and passions and desires. Like, you're not real. What the fuck?
Do you mean? What do you mean you make earrings and you want to go to fucking med school or whatever? Like, what?
Also, I can't believe none of the fun facts say this. And I can't recall where I heard it or where I read it, but I specifically remember Elizabeth Henstridge saying that she was sick as a dog filming this or something of that nature.
Wow.
And that's why her voice sounds all raspy.
Yeah. It definitely, like, makes sense for the character, though.
Yeah, it works for sure. But I just put, it was a different time, pre-COVID. People could show up to work sick, and it was, like, not a big deal.
Whatever. Yeah. I mean, I guess, like, at least she wasn't making out with anybody this episode.
Yeah.
She was kind of kept her distance from everybody, really. In fact, a lot of this episode, she was by herself. For a good portion of it, at least. So, okay. Anyway, and then they come to an Inhuman checkpoint. And Julia says that while most places have the capability of checking for Inhuman DNA pre-Terrigenesis, this checkpoint just checks IDs. Simmons says she doesn't have one. She must have lost it back in the forest. And then Julia starts getting very nervous, and she's like, no, you have to have an ID. What are you talking about? You have to have one. So Simmons checks again, and then she finds her shield ID, and so Julia starts panicking, and she kicks Simmons out of the car. Luckily, she doesn't, like, scream or anything. She's just like, you have to get out of here. I'm not gonna, like, turn you in, but you cannot be here.
Yeah.
And so she says that, like, they'll get arrested otherwise. So Gemma runs off into the trees again.
Poor thing.
She's like, I was just dead. At the briefing, May tells the Hydra team that they have a gene-positive pre-Inhuman detained right now named Jason Rajan of Deanwood, apparently. But then the picture that they show is Senator Nadir's brother. Daisy recognizes him, obviously, but then she denies it when May notices. Also, obviously. So because May notices that Skye knows this guy, she puts her and Ward on point to interrogate him and catch him lying about helping, quote, subversives. About helping subversives. Ward has Daisy lead the interrogation, and she starts off asking about the stuff in his file, the missing truck of Terrigen crystals, and then she gets a text saying, like, I know you can do better than that, or something. So she starts asking who in Hydra gave him a fake ID, because she knows for a fact that his name is Vijay Nadir. He avoids it for a moment, but then finally admits that there is a threat within Hydra, as she put it, before Ward knocks him out cold without warning, which is very Ward, actually. And then he simply says, at least we broke him. What?
In both Ward double agent storylines, there is a moment where he either, like, remember the first time around when he killed who they thought was the clairvoyant?
Yeah.
And it was like, it was again without a warning, without anything. It was just like, it was a cover up.
Yeah.
And in the same way in this one, he, like, knocks out Vijay.
in terrible order. Double agent.
Like, that's his move every time. Just
shut up forever. Anyway, so Simmons makes it to a little coffee shop. She sits down and grabs a newspaper with an anti-Inhuman headline on the front page. And everyone in the shop is reading this newspaper, she notices. Not a single smartphone in sight. So she very sneakily nabs the car keys from the table next to her, and then a coat from a chair beside the door. Thankfully, it's a coat that fits her pretty well. It's like perfectly her size. But before she can make it out the door, 2 Hydra agents stop her and start asking why she looks so dirty and disgusting, essentially, which fucking rude. She says she went hiking and fell, and one of them's like in a dumpster. And when they ask for her ID, she says she lost it in the fall. So they take her out to their car and look up her name in the database. And when it shows her picture as a dead girl, she quickly escapes and then shoots them both with their own gun. And it's like a fucking taser gun. Very interesting. Very evil fits, actually.
Yeah. Actually, I didn't think of that.
Coulson is teaching his high school class all of Hydra's propaganda about how bad S.H.I.E.L.D. was and how, no, Hydra didn't come from Nazis. Don't ever say that. They've been around for centuries. How could they be Nazis? As though that means they've been around for centuries, so they were there, and they could absolutely have been Nazis.
Yeah.
And then one of his students gets called out of class for testing, quote, and the agents, like, take his backpack from him. And I just always think it's so interesting how book sacks and TV never have anything in them. Like, they're empty. My book sack in high school was so heavy, it was, like, literally unhealthy for my spine. And everybody else's was the same way. I don't know, like, where are all these people's books?
In elementary school, my doctor literally had to send in a note because my backpack was too heavy for me. Like, I've always been, tiny, like 40 pounds when I was, I don't remember, in elementary school. I've always been very small. Yeah. And so, like, my backpack was, like, literally unhealthy for my spine. Like, they took an x-ray and they're like, yeah, we need to stop that. And so I think what we ended up doing was I had, like, a set of books for school and a set of books for home. And so the only thing I really carried in my backpack was, like, my notebooks and stuff.
Yeah.
But then I was homeschooled from 7th grade on up, so I didn't have to worry about carrying my backpack anymore in high school.
Yeah. I mean, and I'm trying to think, like, because I guess some people use their lockers if they had lockers.
Yeah.
And, like, we had lockers when I was in school, but I did not use... I know I had one, but I did not know where it was. And I never used it. Obviously, if I didn't know where it was. But, like, even if I had, the lockers were in one building, and I was only in that building for, like, 2 classes out of the day. So, like, the whole rest of the day, I had to just carry everything with me. And so, but even if I only took the books that I needed outside of there, I don't know. I don't understand the logistics of it. And it confuses me every time I watch any kind of media about high school students. Because I'm like, where's all your shit, dude? You don't have any... Even my notebooks and stuff. Because I would have, like, notebooks for each class. Or folders or something. Or a binder. I don't know. I'm always confused about it. Anyway, this is all unnecessary because a kid got arrested by Hydra is what happened. And so everybody is, like, reasonably terrified for him. And Mr. Coulson just lets it happen. Daisy stops May from killing VJ for bringing up Bahrain. Which, whew, that is... got some balls on him. Damn. May tells her to bring him to the doctor. And VJ starts protesting as Daisy grabs him and pulls him from the room. They get down the hall and Daisy asks about Bahrain. In this world, apparently, May got it wrong and saved the little girl who ended up then killing a bunch of people in Cambridge, which then gave Hydra and all the other haters in the world free reign to treat Inhumans like less than humans. which led to the fall of S.H.I.E.L.D. and the rise of Hydra, which is where we are now.
And that's what you missed on Glee!
Yeah. Daisy tries to tell VJ that she can help him get out of here, but VJ distracts her and then runs away. But all he said was, "Are you sure you want to say that on camera?" And then there's no camera. Which is genius, honestly.
So funny.
So then other agents stop him, like, pretty much right away with their taser guns. And then the doctor is Fitz! And he arrives and coldly tells Daisy that she lost control of her prisoner and he wants to talk with her alone, which was chilling. Simmons finds the rendezvous point with the button to get them out and is anxiously waiting for Daisy. But she quickly gets too nervous and goes back to her stolen car to look for more of their friends in the database.
So, a goof. After leaving the park bench, Gemma opens the driver's side door to a car and the window is rolled down. She gets in the car and the camera switches to an interior shot of the car as she sits down and closes the door, and the window is now rolled up.
I do always wonder about that, because that happens in, like, every show with a car. Like, why do they just have the windows down randomly?
I don't know anyone who, like, parks their car with the windows down.
Yeah. Why would you do that? What if it rains?
Especially it's a Hydra car. Well, I guess maybe. No one's gonna steal a Hydra car except for Gemma.
Maybe. But yeah, no, like, somebody could just, like, reach in and unlock your car and take it. Anyway. So, as she's searching for everybody, Daisy doesn't exist, by that name anyway. And I did also notice that when Daisy was looking at her own Hydra ID, she was covering the space next to Sky.
Her last name, yeah.
There was no last name. Fitz is classified, and Coulson is the most easily reachable, obviously, so she goes after him. And she finds him in his classroom.
So Coulson is cutting out a newspaper article with the headline, "Loyalist Felix Blake Given Parade, Hydra Hero and Human First Champion Celebrated for Advocacy." Played by Titus Welliver, Blake first appeared in Marvel One-Shot Item 47, and then in several episodes as a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent, and then affiliate of the Watchdogs.
Art thou a-feeling it now, Mr. Krabs? Anyway, so she tries to remind him of his real life and realizes that she sounds insane. And he obviously does not believe her. But then, right before she leaves, she sees a, like, dashboard hula dancer figurine on his shelf and says, "Tahiti!" And he goes, "No, that's Hawaiian." I don't know why that was so funny, but, and then she's like, "No, it's a magical place." And he was like, "Why did you say that?" And she tries again to convince him that his memory has been wiped and that his subconscious knows that this isn't real. But he dismisses her and tells her to just go away. So she says she will leave, but she will not give up on him. And after she leaves the classroom, he makes a phone call and says, "I would like to support. No."
Neither of us can talk.
It's not happening today. After she leaves the classroom, he makes a phone call and says, "I would like to report a subversive." And it's such a low-tech world, because I'm pretty sure he called on, like, a rotary phone, and then she didn't see any, like, smartphones in the coffee shop earlier, and I was just like, did Hydra do this to, like, limit civilians being able to gain knowledge, because it's, like, a police state or whatever, or did Ada do it because, like, technology would be weird in the simulated world? Obviously it was not that, because then we see that Hydra has all kinds of crazy technology. So yeah, it was just to keep civilians in line and making them accept their propaganda.
Yeah, that's what it seems, at least, for sure. So we get a very brief exterior shot of the high school, and we find out that Coulson teaches at Alexander Pierce High School. Alexander Pierce was one of the main Hydra leaders in Captain America: The Winter Soldier.
Oh my god. Okay. I thought that name sounded familiar. Wow. They even said the name in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., like in the first season or whatever.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's all connected.
It's all connected. Anyway, so Simmons goes out to the parking lot to find the kid who asked about Hydra being Nazis in class. And he is tagging her stolen car. And she's like, what the fuck? But they end up having a very nice interaction for once, which is nice.
Before the nice interaction, when the kid is like arguing with her, she goes, "You're not even real, you rogue piece of code." It's so funny.
I love her. Oh my god.
I'm gonna start telling people that.
You rogue piece of code.
You're not even real.
Oh. Anyway, so once they finally come to an understanding, she tells him that Coulson used to fight Hydra and that every single one of Hydra is in fact a Nazi. He was right. The kid feels bad for tagging her car, or her stolen car, and so he lets her take his. And oh my god, I cannot even imagine the screaming that would have happened if I had just given my car to a stranger when I was in high school.
And he specifically says, "You can borrow mine," as if she's going to bring it back.
Right.
And she doesn't. They fully burn the car.
They burned it. Yeah, bro.
That car's gone.
When I got my license senior year, most of my senior year, I was driving my parents' cars. So I'm just like, is this his car or is he driving his parents' car? And he's like, no, you can drive it. You can borrow it. Just because she's like, yeah, dude, Hydra's all Nazis. You're totally right. Oh, cool. Here's my car. What? Anyway. But, of course, a surveillance drone is already watching Simmons' every move. They move fucking fast here. Damn. Coulson just called.
It's a brave new scary world.
Damn. Daisy is horrified at the machine that Fitz is using to test VJ. And he says that there are no side effects, but Daisy's like, he's clearly, like, being burned right now. There's obviously side effects. And Fitz is like, no, I meant that it can test for powers without triggering teragenesis. I don't care about anything else. And Daisy says, this is a crime against humanity. Why are you doing this? And Fitz is like, no, it's not, because these are inhumans, not humans. So, that's not possible. Wow.
Yeah.
He tells her that she's been a useful asset, but he does not want to hear her opinion unless he asks for it. The way he is so terrifying in this episode.
I know. He's such a good actor.
God. And honestly, just like Fitz as a character, because you're like realizing all of these characters could be so evil and terrifying if all the circumstances were different, you know?
Yeah.
If they didn't live the life that they lived and had the people around them that they have, they could be so dangerous. But because they're on our team, they're good. Anyway, so, yeah. terrified this whole time. And then he asks Daisy how things are going with Ward, and that he noticed that her application for cohabitation got approved. So that's also terrifying.
Yeah.
They have to ask Hydra if they can live together. And I guess...
wonder if you have to, like, ask to get married, too, ask to have a kid.
Right. Is that for everybody, or is it just for people who work for Hydra specifically? Like, maybe it's like because one of them is like a superior to the other one in rank or something, and so they have to like get it approved. But yeah, terrifying precedent. And just then, thankfully, May comes in with a report of a subversive reported at a high school. Daisy hears Coulson's name and then a description of Simmons, but she's told to leave before she can get any more information. And so she's like, fine, I'm booking it. So Daisy hurries out of the building, caught only by Ward, who picks a fight again. She plays along and says that, yeah, she's pissed that she like put herself out there last night and he blew her off. And he was just because he needed space or whatever. And so she's like, fine, you can have all the space you need, but I need some too, so leave me alone.
And then he doesn't.
Which, honestly, in this case was helpful.
Yeah.
I guess. And
I'll let it slide this time, since he's not real.
Right. Since he's not real, he's just a rogue piece of code. Anyway, so Coulson is still in his classroom going through an old file of his, and it has news clippings and a flyer about a string orchestra. Hello, cello player. Cellist. And then finally, a postcard from Tahiti. He scrunches his face like he's trying to remember, and then he sets it aside. And then he picks up several sheets of paper that are just covered in his own handwriting, repeating the phrase, "It's a magical place," over and over and over again. So he knows something isn't right.
A newspaper article in Phil Coulson's folder says, "Winslow doctor arrested for subversion." While the headline suggests the doctor lives in a place called Winslow, the article says the man arrested is a doctor in Cleveland who is experimenting with altering human genetics. Though they don't release his name, Dr. Winslow is the new name given to Calvin Johnson, Daisy's father, played by Kyle MacLachlan after his mind is wiped by the Tahiti device at the end of season 2.
Oh my god. Wow. The fucking Easter eggs in this show are so crazy.
Right?
Holy shit, dude. Wow. Anyway. Damn. So, Daisy finds the rendezvous point finally, and Simmons meets her there, luckily. I guess she just, stayed there.
I loved the exchange where they're, kind of catching up on each other, and Daisy's like, "You were dead. Wait, are you still dead?" And Simmons goes, "No, I'm feeling much better."
Also, what do you mean, are you still dead? Are you a ghost? Is that what she's asking?
The framework world has ghosts.
Yeah.
Ada's like, what? I thought they were real.
Everybody talks about them like they're real. But before they can share everything that they've learned so far, fucking Ward shows up. Everyone is confused and yelling and who is that? Why is he here? What's going on? It's chaos. And then Ward protects them? Question mark? Because Hydra shows up, obviously, because everybody is looking for Simmons. And Ward says that he has joined the resistance in order to protect Sky because he found out that she was Inhuman, and he didn't tell her. Always a double agent. Fucking Ward.
Oh, Ward.
But luckily, he plays getaway driver for them in the getaway car, while the rest of Hydra give chase. Simmons puts together that they are together and says, "This isn't the framework, this is hell." Thank you, that's what I'm saying. Ward finally, like, gets them out of sight so that Simmons and Daisy can get to the metro and then back to her apartment, where he says that they will be safe.
Can I interject?
Please.
That I am someone who loves a walkable city and public transportation. I have been to both DC and Chicago and did not take the train in either of those places. And I'm still mad about it.
You should be. It was really fun taking the train in Chicago.
Anyway, continue.
Yeah. So, okay. Ward admits that he was the mole, who got VJ the fake ID. And so Daisy apologizes for getting VJ burned. She says she just got caught up trying to give May something, and she didn't know that she was putting Ward in danger too. So then he asks what her real name is, because Simmons was like, "They call you Sky here?" And then he says that they'll catch up later and talk about everything after he finishes burning the car.
That poor kid.
Poor kid. He was just trying to be nice.
He's so grounded.
Oh my god. He's never getting a car again. I guess he can just say that it got stolen. He can be like, "That crazy subversive lady was saying that nothing was real, and then she stole my keys." Anyway. So May informs Fitz about the anonymous mole within Hydra, and he tells her to treat it like a cancer and cut it out. She says she'll cut it out herself, and he says, "You failed before. Don't forget how it felt in Cambridge." Oh my god.
Yikes.
His tone of voice, it was, like, so quiet, but so, like, awful. I hated it.
Yeah, the fact that, like, this whole world pretty much started because they took away May's biggest regret.
Yeah.
And replaced it with a different biggest regret.
Right. They made it even worse. And wait, okay, so the whole point, because Ada was like, "We're taking away their regrets. We're giving them a world without pain," or whatever. What the fuck? You gave her a worse regret. God.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Fitz also asks about the drone footage of Simmons' escape, and May says that it was sent directly to the director by request. Back at the apartment, Daisy and Simmons finally are able to actually catch up on everything, and Daisy admits that she saw Fitz and that he, along with everybody else, is so different. They all lost their way because they didn't have the one person who kept them honest or gave them direction or purpose. May doesn't have Coulson doesn't have S.H.I.E.L.D., Fitz doesn't have Simmons. Everything sucks. So Daisy and Simmons ultimately decide that they need to get out early and re-strategize before coming in again. But when they try to hit the exit button, it doesn't work. Ah! Someone has reprogrammed their exit and they are trapped. Fuck! Fitz goes to see the director, who is Ada. Fucking obviously, but why didn't I think of that? And she says that she knows about the mole, and that she has eliminated a loophole for their escape. Oh my god. And then she refuses to let Fitz see who it is, obviously. Because he and Simmons will find each other in every lifetime, no matter if it's real or not. And then he starts to get, like, angry and says that he will not allow anyone to jeopardize what they've built together, and he'll protect Hydra and her. Oh, and then they kiss, and it's disgusting, and I hate it. Ew! Fuck! I literally finished the episode and went, ew!
Yeah, it's a lot. And it's like, okay, did Ada develop a crush on Fitz?
Which, I'm thinking yes, because he was, like, the only person that was nice to her, right? Remember when he was, like, messing with her original head, and she was, like, was expressing gratitude towards him, and he was the only person who treated her like a person rather than like a robot servant. So it makes sense to me that she was like, I want us to be together, but also I hate it so much. Anyway, okay. And then once I took a break, now it's time for the post-content content! Coulson is finally leaving school in the middle of the fucking night. Pay teachers more. What the fuck? And Daisy is waiting for him in his car.
The scene where Daisy forces Coulson to talk to her by waiting in the backseat of his car is a callback to the Season 1 episode The Magical Place, where Coulson does the same to Dr. Stryton.
Dr. Stryton. Damn. You know, it's so crazy because all the names that you have brought up in this episode, I'm like, I've never thought of them again after whatever episode they were in. And now I'm like, oh, fuck, yeah, no, they existed.
That's what I love about this show, is there's so many callbacks. It really is all connected.
Yeah,
like,
it's crazy.
So good.
Anyway, so Daisy greets him in, like, the creepiest way possible. She's just like, hey. It's awful. I hated it.
And he's like, no, you're not real. You're not here. Go away. You're not here.
And she begs him to remember her. She's like, no, I am real, and I'm here, and I need you to remember me, please. And he hesitates, but he says that he can't. And she's like, it's okay, it's not your fault. And then she tells him that she just usually goes to him when life gets heavy because he's the closest thing to family that she has. And she was hoping that he would feel that too, somewhere deep down. And then he pauses, and he looks at her, and he says, Daisy? Oh my god! We have something, I feel... Thank fuck. There was a lot of screaming in this episode. I'm so sorry to headphone users everywhere. Fuck.
My god.
I genuinely, had no idea what they were gonna do. If Coulson didn't remember them, I was like, they're fucking stuck. They're stuck! But even with him remembering, I genuinely have no idea how they're gonna get out of this. Like...
Oh, yeah. I can't say anything, obviously.
Obviously.
Those are your overall thoughts?
Yeah.
Okay. So I've got a couple of extra fun facts. First of all, this episode is dedicated to Bill Paxton, who portrayed John Garrett in the first season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and passed away in February 2017, a little bit more than a month before this episode aired. And so at the end, there's a little epitaph for him.
That's sweet.
And then, similar to the virtual world within the Matrix trilogy, the framework has a subtle green hue to give it the feel of being inside of a computer system.
Ew! No. Oh my god. Okay, I did not notice that, but it makes sense.
Yeah.
It did.
Watch out for it
different.
next time.
It looked
different.
different.
It does. It's definitely a different color grading. Like, you can tell that.
Ew. That's so smart. What the fuck? DJ. What the fuck?
All right. Well,
wow.
That concludes our episode on season 4, episode 16, What If?
Wow.
Next time, we'll be covering season 4, episode 17, Identity and Change, so stay tuned for that.
Okay, bye.
Bye, love you.